Hi, welcome back to DBU. Today we're continuing on in our discussion of electricity, focusing on power distribution. You're probably beginning to wonder what any of this has to do with pro audio. Stick with me, I promise all the dots will connect shortly. First, we're going to discuss the power grid as it is today and how it works. The grid evolved into what it is now as a result of Tesla's early development. Although he would argue that the grid today is not what he ultimately envisioned, he was working towards wireless power transmission. What we do have now has worked reliably for the last 100 years or so. So how does the power we consume every day get to us? Well, electricity is usually generated at a nearby power plant by large generators, or dynamos that are powered by some form of fuel. Most commonly coal and nuclear, although solar, water, and wind to a lesser extent have been proven useful in certain municipalities. The output of this dynamo is extremely high and is connected to very large transformers which couple to very large power lines, around 132 kilovolts or better. The electricity is then distributed to a substation near your neighborhood. From there, they step the power down and route it through smaller lines into yet another step-down transformer outside your home. You've probably seen them before. They look like big, ugly oil drums mounted at the top of your power pole. From there, they terminate at a breaker panel just outside your house. If you're wondering why they're sending 132 kilovolts or more to our panel when all we need is 110 volts at the wall, well, it has to do with line loss and the characteristics of line resistance. You see, back in the day, if a utility wanted to guarantee 100 volts to the customer, they had to consider a line loss of at least 10%, hence 110 volts AC. The cable they send the power down is extremely long and thick, and the current tends to weaken or turn to heat as it moves further away from the plant, just like waves in a pond. Raising the voltage to a higher level helps overcome that resistance. And then remember, you're not the only customer. Millions of people need that power all the time. You need a large reservoir for all that power and large pipelines with a lot of pressure behind it to move it long distances. So, onto that breaker panel. Your panel is loaded with a bunch of 3-conductor electrical wire that connects to the various circuits that feed all the outlets in your home. To save money on wire, your electrician daisy-chained or jumped many of these plug locations together. You've probably experienced this before, like when a circuit breaker trips and multiple outlets go out together. Ideally, breakers prevent excessive current from melting the wires in your walls, but they don't always work. My house burned down a few years ago because of a faulty circuit. On the panel side, the electrician has to connect each wire in the 3-conductor jacket to a specific location. The hot side, which connects to the power plant, is colored black and it gets plugged into the breaker. The white wire is the neutral, sometimes called a return, which also goes back to the power plant. That's the other half of the AC circuit. By the way, this line should not carry voltage ever. If it does, you have a serious problem. This white wire is terminated in what's called a busbar. It's really just a metal block with a bunch of screws in it. That bar is fastened to the inside of the electrical box. The third wire is green, which is the ground. All of the green wires connect to another busbar, which is also fastened to the inside of the box. This bar further connects to a large copper wire, which leaves the panel and is ultimately fastened to a copper rod that is pounded deep into the ground, outside the box. This driven rod is called a U for ground. It's the total ground for your house. You don't want that interrupted, corroded, or broken. The ground is there for safety, to dissipate stray current. But as is usually the case in life though, you don't get something for nothing. What the ground giveth us in safety, it taketh away in terms of clean audio. Many of you have probably heard a hum or buzz in your audio before and have been unsure how to handle it. Well, these sorts of noises are usually traced back to a poorly wired or grounded audio system. Appliances don't care if the power lines are dirty or have excessive crap in them, but audio equipment is much more sensitive. It picks up everything. So how is this noise generated and how do we fix it? Well, you're just going to have to come back so I can explain it further in my next video because we're out of time. Thank you for watching. I encourage you to subscribe to my content, leave a comment, and check back for more stuff. Till next time, cheers.